Courage. Do you like stories? Do you like listening to other people's personal stories? Well, you can read on. Well, listen on. It's my story. Have you ever wondered what courage feels like? Well, I have many examples of it, but I will stick to a few just for the sake of writing more in the future. Well, a while back, back when I was younger, a few decades ago, I know that sounds a long time ago, but it really was not that long ago. You see, I remember it just like it was happening right now. That's amazing. To remember things that happened long ago, like if it was happening right now. Well, enough of that. Let's get to the actual story. You see, when I was younger, I grew up in the city of Boston. At a time when youth violence was at an all-time high, the city was trying to figure out a way to solve this problem. You will hear many stories of people getting stabbed and shot. Where I grew up, there was a gang that had multiple rivals not that far off. So worries would be so vivid in my mind of what could happen at any moment. It did not help to know that as a first generation of immigrants from the Dominican Republic, we had to live on government support, and mom and stepdad would have to work to provide for the family. So this meant that as a blended family, working parents, we had a lot of unsupervised times. Our way to kill time was to play with our friends in our neighborhood, and one of the places we would often go to was the closest park near us. It was where the gang would hang out most of their time. So as kids, we will often go there, not knowing what could happen. As usual, we would play in the playground, we would play tag and play basketball and have fun being kids. Well, imagine being a kid and trying to have fun with your friends. You encounter many occasions where fights would break out by rival gangs. I remember this one time when we were playing at this park and a fight broke out between two individuals in the rival gangs. And the friends of the local gang decided to jump in on the fight, and the guy was beat up. In moments of time, maybe a day or two, I remember going by this park and remember the rival gang were all over this park. If I remember correctly, there must have been like over 50 gang members looking for those that beat up their friend. Thankfully, nothing bad happened as a result that day, and the beef between the two rival gangs was squashed shortly thereafter. I can think of another day where me and two other friends were walking to a nearby store that had arcades. Well, that's what we used to play back in the days before Nintendos and all these things came about. We would go to the arcade games to play arcades. As we were closing into the store, laying on the floor was someone. As we got closer and many people started gathering around this person, and we saw who it was, we ran quickly to the store and made a phone call at a payphone. Yeah, I know, back in these days, we didn't have cell phones. Well, inside the store, and we called my brother. We told my brother, "Yo, your friend was shot and is lying unconscious on the floor right outside the store." So my brother and his friends rushed over to where we were and picked me up and rushed over to the hospital. Surely did we find out that my brother's friend had died from a gunshot wound. He was shot in the chest with a 12-gauge shotgun. I remember I walked to the store, but I don't recall hearing the gunshot. Well, another incident that occurred to me was one late night as me and my stepbrother were walking home one late night. Don't ask me why we were out in the street late at night. It must have been like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. But my stepbrother was on a bike and I was walking. A short while after leaving our friend's house, which he lived about a 10-minute walk from where we lived, 3 guys from a local gang approached me and asked me if I was a member of the rival gang. My stepbrother was at a distance since he was on a bike. He turned around, but by the time my stepbrother got to me, 3 guys had let me go. These guys asked me if I was down with the rival gang. They looked really high on drugs, and it appeared like they were carrying a gun. I can tell by the way they were holding their clothes. At this moment, I was beyond scared. I even pee began to run down my pants. I really thought that they were going to do something to me. But out of my mouth came, "Do you know Pabs?" they said. "Yes, he's our friend." I told them, "Well, he's my brother." And they apologized to me and let me go. If I would not have told them who my brother was, I don't know what could have happened to me that night. It was a major relief to be on my way home. But to conclude this small portion of my life experience during my youthful days, during a time of intense violence, during a time of uncertainty, a time of innocence meet difficulty circumstances, growing up in these types of circumstances takes courage. It takes courage to keep moving on this despite of high level of violence. It takes to have hope and dreams. It takes courage to want better than your current situation. It takes courage not to give up. It feels good to have courage.